What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, and so I know I said I would bring you guys an IRL deck profile of this, but I'm going to be doing two actually. I'm showing you guys this version because it's the expensive version that some of you may want to buy, like for sure. I totally understand that. Most of the money comes in the extra deck, but the reason I'm going to be doing two separate ones is because I want to give you guys the one I think is the legitimately, like, this is the most optimal version possible, like with what money can buy. But I also want to give you guys kind of that budget option that makes it a little worse for sure. But at the same time, you know, it'll still be pretty competitive, and that's the version that I have in real life. And I was like, okay, let me buy out this extra deck, and I was kind of doing that, but I mean, some of these cards are a little pricey, not all of them, but it can get up there. But we'll just get into it today. Like I said, this is the most competitive version I think is possible. Just some of the cards may cost you a little more than you want to spend for sure. Starting out, the main deck isn't too different from the casual version, so I guess you guys can kind of base it off of this. But I'll be coming out with that real life in about probably a week. I don't know. I just want to separate them out. Yeah, so this ratio I do feel is the most optimal. So 2 Dark Summoning Beasts, and some of this may surprise you, but if you guys go back and look at my video, this is how you play Sacred Beast in 2020. Again, I beat, not to say that you will consistently beat, but I beat all the top meta decks in existence, including I didn't play out Emancipator, so I can't say that, but Eldritch I beat. Prank Kids I took out, Generators I took out, and these were full powered decks. So you guys will have to trust me and test it out for yourself. Obviously, don't take my word for it. The 2 Dark Summoning Beasts, like I said, the 3 Dark Beckoning Beasts, which is the best card in the deck pretty much because it searches everything, and the 2 Chaos Summoning Beast. 2 Fallen Paradise, I used to run 1, and I really do because it is a little bricky for sure if you draw it, because you really don't want to, but people are going to destroy it in my experience. So you have to have a backup because it is so vital to surviving that extra turn and then going for the kill the next. And here's the ratios, guys. Again, I've seen tons of YouTubers be like 3 of each or something like that, 2 of each. Man, it's just, you can't, you literally just can't. They're dead cards in your hand, obviously, most of the time. Not always now, but just the 1 Raviel and the 2 Haman. If you want to run Uriah, go check out my Lightsworn Uriah deck. You have to base the deck around it, or else it just simply doesn't work. The 1 Cerulean Skyfire, which is pretty good. The only reason you own 1 is because it's searchable, first of all. And there's the 7 Spirit Gates Unleashed, which can add it back to your hand if it's destroyed. And you just have to think like card economy wise, like in your opening hand, what can you afford to have? You quite literally can't afford to have a Sacred Beast in your hand, and you can't afford to have more than 1 of these. But you have the 7 Spirit Gates because it's obviously a general searcher, so that's for monsters, which is uber important. The 1 for 1, and again the 1 Sacred Beast Awakening, and again it's searchable, so it's not like you're never gonna find it. And it's just one of those things that you will literally lose the duel if you see 2 of these in your opening hand, most likely. I mean, just think, you have the chance of opening, a Sacred Beast in this, and if you have 2 of them in your hand, like 1 card isn't going to do enough unless it's Dark Beckoning Beast or the 7 Spirit Gates. There's something I don't want to rely on. I do run 2. There can be only 1. It's the best trap card in the game, in my opinion. I just think it blows out card. It's the quite literal worst card that Eldritch can't compete with unless they have Cosmic Cyclone, which a ton of them don't main deck. And here's where it gets expensive in the main deck. Here's the 2 Pot of Extravagance, which are so important. I've seen people use Allure, and I understand because you're using so many dark monsters. Well, I actually don't, obviously, as you guys can see. But you just banish, you need it. You need it in your hand. That's what it comes down to. And that's the thing. It's the same thing with what's it called? Pot of Desires. With Pot of Desires, there's some stuff you just literally can't afford to banish. As much as you need the draw power, and I understand draw power is so important, but you cannot afford to just blindly take 10 cards out of your deck. You can't. It's just not possible. So I'd much rather run a Lore than a 1 and I think they had Pot of Desires in the structure deck, maybe, and I just don't agree with it. 100%, no matter what your builds are, please don't put that in your deck. As a person who loves Sacred Beast, the one skill drain, as long as you have Haman, and that's another reason why I don't run Uriah. Haman and Raphael are 4,000. Sometimes that's legitimately just enough to win you the game. Having a 4,000 monster and your opponent basically can't do anything. What are you gonna do? Coming up next, the 2 Called by the Grave. You definitely want your searches to go through. So, and also it's just good situationally. 3 is a little too bricky. You can't afford to have too many bricky cards in your hand. The 2 Twin Twisters, which I guess you guys could put out for different hand traps. That could be Nibiru. That could be something else, another effect value, which you guys will see coming up in just a second. I just think this is a really, really heavy back row heavy format. And as much as Adamantispators is like kind of the poster child of the format, I feel like, and maybe even Eldritch, which I guess Twin Twisters isn't great against. Even then, I'm thinking a little forward, like for your locals, which I still don't have any, and it's another reason why I haven't bought all the cards for this. But anyways, yep. I just think that it's just good, and it's just my experience what people are playing right now. And then here's your Kaiju lineup: 2 Gamma Seals and 1 Dogoron. And you could change Dogoron, obviously. I think there's better Kaijus, but and 1 came with the structure decks. If you bought that, you already have it. Kaijus are just really good, and it's just I think it's kind of gotten away, and I think again Adamantispators have taken that spotlight unnecessarily. I'm thinking about strategies that you'll be playing more often, because honestly a lot of people aren't buying expensive Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now, or at least like people are tired of them, and there's no real tournaments, so like what's the point of playing competitive decks? There really isn't. Your hand trap lineup, again, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Effect Veiler. It's just, this is a control heavy deck, obviously. That's the whole point. And that's what I think people focus too much on this OTK potential that's just very not reliable. And I think it adds way more bricks than it should. So I'm definitely about that. 2 Dark Ruler No More, which I think the card's only like $5 now. I need to order some myself for sure. But without any paper tournaments, it's like, it's just $10. I mean, I guess it's not a lot, relatively speaking, but still, could spend $10 on gas or something, like I'm a poor college kid. The 2 Inspector Border, like I told you guys, I showed you again in the highlights that you guys should check out if you are watching this first and you haven't seen the other videos first. And then the 1 Foolish Burial, obviously, there's tons of good stuff to dump in this deck. Because, even if you have the 7 Spirit Gates with Fallen Paradise, you just dump like Chaos, or you can dump literally any of them in Special Limited, so... onto the extra deck, and it's just a bunch of general link monsters which are situational. You probably won't hit because you're Pot of Extravagance, but hey, these ratios can be whatever you want them to be. This is just what I do because, again, if you open the perfect hand and you're not relying on Pot of Extravagance, having this range of non-targeting removal or spot removal is good. And you can even add like IP Masquerade. It's probably, actually, I probably would add IP in favor of like one of these like link 4s. So let's take out Zeraboros. We'll just do it now. And this is the deck, guys, that I was running with, by the way, for that video. I haven't changed anything other than this like right now. So they did just piece this together. This is the one that you guys saw from the videos. The 3 Almirage, obviously super important for your combo piece, and also a little bit of protection. The Appaloosa, Borload, Boral Sword, Unicorn, Nightmare, Cerberus, Topologic, Access Code Talker, Trisbina. This is Blackluster Soldier, IP, and Equimax. So almost no strategy can special. One of the unique things that you can special summon a lot in this deck for sure. Like you can link climb pretty easily. Like this is one of the few control decks I think that have the ability to go into the extra deck and not hurt them in any way at all. And you can add other stuff like Underclock Taker or something. I know that's like an ancient card, but you guys kind of get what I mean. But that's going to do it for the literal optimal, in my opinion, Sacred Beast deck. And I'm sorry it's taken me so long. Again, I want to do an IRL, and I am. Just wait for that next week, and I'm going to give you guys the budget, the quote-unquote budget option, but the most competitive budget option I can think of for Sacred Beast that isn't funky as all hell. So thank you for your patience again, guys, and thank you for 90 subs. I'm doing a special 90 sub video tomorrow. It's going to be based around number 90, Galaxy Knight Soldier or something like that. So I'm going to try to do that actually for every like 90, 100, because I'm thinking, like I just recently thought like, hey, there's number cards. What the heck? Why would I not do that for the sub count? And again, thank you all for all support, and I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.